And let's get it. This is the Back Row Bengals show, all brought to you by fansided.com. Go ahead and head over to fansided.com if you want to read all about the Bengals. Go to Stripe Hype side. You can read a brand new article, How the Bengals' Biggest Obstacle is Themselves this year, written by me. Would love to have some more reads on that. Share it with your friends and everything. Today, we have a very special guest, somebody that creates quite a bit of content all over Bengals Twitter. If you're on Bengals Twitter regularly, you'll know exactly who he is. You don't really hear a lot from him verbally, but we're going to talk to him right now, get a great interview in at Dalton Signature on Twitter. Makes a lot of content, has his own website, daltonsignature.com. Check out all his artwork. He's available for hire. Thank you, Dalton, so much for joining. How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I was reading a little bit more about your bio, and one of the things that I think a lot of Bengals fans, I mean, you create content, it's all over everything, it's gorgeous, but a lot of people don't really know exactly the man behind the artwork. So I kind of want to dive into a little bit of that. You grew up in Southeast Alaska and then went to college in Seattle. How did you find yourself becoming a Bengals fan? I just got to know.
I became a Bengals fan '89.
Mhm.
It was my freshman year of high school. I got to go to school in Gallup, New Mexico, and that high school was the Bengals. And when I moved back, that was the year they went to the Super Bowl. When I moved back up to Alaska, everyone assumptions were that he loves the Bengals. It was in the
Right.
Super Bowl. So I had everything Bengals. I had the big bomber jacket. I had the
Mm.
MC Hammer zebra pants that were, it was awesome. I loved it. But since then, I've been a fan. And, as you know, it's been up and down over the years, but
Right.
the past uh, decade in the 2000s, it's been amazing. Uh,
Right.
Amazing ride. So.
Right, and I gotta think that since now you're out in Washington right now, I can imagine being around some annoying Seattle Seahawks fan. It gets on your nerves a little bit.
A little, yeah. I I was born in Seattle, so
Hmm.
technically, I guess I should be a Seahawks fan, but I'm going to stick to my Bengals. I've been
Right.
a fan for quite a while, so yeah.
Happy to have you on board. I mean, and then you make some great pieces. I think my favorite one now has got to be the combination of Ted Lasso and Zach Taylor with the Believe shirt on there. So now, and I see a lot of your merchandise is starting to make its way out through Cincy shirts. What do you? So what are some products out now that have your artwork on
The biggest one right now is Cincy shirts. So go there for the Believe, and they're amazing. They're allowing me to create a collection, a Dalton
it?
signature collection, which I'm in the middle of working on. So those, keep an eye out for some stuff to be launching there as well. Other than that, I just do my own prints and do giveaways, and I got one
Mm.
coming up.
So that's cincyshirts.com. They're doing a whole Dalton signature side of it. So be sure to go check that out. And Cincy shirts definitely for the
Yeah.
holiday season coming up. So have you experienced, so I mean, obviously with the Bengals community and especially on Twitter, there's a lot of love, a lot of sharing. I mean, I know I've a lot of my closer friends are from Bengals Twitter, and that's how I met you. And do you get this sort of let's try to think of the word here, this sort of admiration or this sort of acceptance and having your artwork go all over the place? Do you get this from any other community now, or do you think that the Bengals community is your best selling point, your best audience?
I think the Bengals community has been, they've embraced me. I originally did stuff on Facebook, and
Mhm.
we know how Facebook is right now.
A little hostile.
Oh, it blows up. Um, but so I started doing stuff on Twitter because I saw a huge following of Bengals fans on Twitter, whether they were just a fan or they did a podcast,
Mhm.
content creations, what have you. It's just a huge family. So that's where I just drive everything that is on Twitter.
Do you think your favorite thing to design is sports media? And then more specifically, when you're making sports edits or sports art, do you like to do the Bengals the most? I mean, for most part, that's where most a lot of your artwork is, and where a lot of your fan base is. But is that what you like to do the most?
For the most part, yes, definitely. As a fan, I love doing all the Bengal stuff. But because I want to make this more of a professional endeavor, I do try to do some other teams as well,
Mhm.
uh, just to help the portfolio
Right.
building. But as a fan, I love to showcase some of the stuff that I can do with the Bengals players and share that. I love sharing all that stuff with everyone.
Right. Yeah. Have you been able to make your way out to Cincinnati for a game or to be in the stadium?
Not yet. I can't
Not
wait.
yet.
Not yet. I can't wait. But through everyone that I follow and everyone that follows me on Twitter, I have a great sense of what it would be like and what
Mhm.
Cincinnati is and all that it has to offer. And it just, makes me want to get there even more.
Right.
I remember going to Charlotte, North Carolina, and coming back. It was a middle of the night plane ride, and I just woke up. And funny thing is, I woke up and looked out the window, and I was right above Cincinnati, and I had
Really?
a photo. And Bengals, the captain, he's like, "Hey, everybody, jump out and wave hi to Dalton. He's flying over." And so, I definitely can't wait to get out there. It's going to be
Mm.
amazing.
Yeah, well, definitely. We have to find a way to get you out here. So out in Washington, are you the only Bengals fan, or do you have some Bengals fan friends, or what is it like out there?
It's pretty scarce. There's a few Bengals fans here in my town, and but there's very few. So for me to go to a bar, it's all Seahawks.
Right.
So it's really hard, even though if I can get a screen or, but my best experience so far as is a Bengal bar would be when I went to North Carolina, Charlotte.
Okay.
They had a bar there. And it was strictly all Bengals, and it was that gave me goosebumps.
Right.
It was a touchdown when people were cheering Bengals. That was awesome. I loved it. I've only been to two games at in Seattle when
Okay.
the Bengals came to the Seahawks,
Mhm.
and I saw the Hall of Fame game with the Cowboys and Bengals
Oh, okay.
years ago.
Gotcha.
So it was Palmer. I got to
Mhm.
see Ocho, and yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So now you got to get out here and see Joe Burrow, and now it's
Exactly,
going to
and
be the new one.
experience all of it. Yeah.
All right. So let's jump into the Bengals this year. I want to get your initial reaction. So you said you've been a fan since 89. You've seen a lot of Bengals. How do you feel about this team this year? How do you feel about the quarterback? I want to get your initial reaction.
I think we don't see that much as there are a lot of teams that are like breaking down chaos, one
Mhm.
player, this player, that team, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Our team is composing themselves like they want to win. And I
Mhm.
love seeing that. I love hearing that. I love not seeing drama. I love seeing commitment. I love seeing leadership. I love seeing we're in this together. We believe
Mhm.
as a team we're going to move forward. Um, and I think we're on the right path. A lot you may not feel it or see it, but
Yeah.
we're going to get there.
Right. I 100%. Actually, I was on with Jess at the Hube last night, and she said the
Yeah.
exact same thing. She said a lot of teams around the Bengals, especially in the AFC North, they're breaking down. They're having a lot of injuries, and they're letting it get to themselves. And then obviously all the stuff with Chase Claypool is honestly hilarious to watch. Just watching the Steelers break and just break. It's kind of fun, honestly.
Right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so then this obviously is probably the most controversial question to any Bengals fan because I feel like anytime after a loss, everybody's going in a different direction. But how do you feel about Zach Taylor as the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals?
I think he's our guy. I
Hmm.
think there's still a lot of things that need to be worked out. And I think because of our so quick success, like what were we dubbed to win only two games this year, maybe?
Yeah, two, three, maybe even
Three.
four. Yeah,
And they've proven us differently.
right,
But there's also that learning, those bumps, those speed bumps that we're still really a rookie team
right,
from coaching staff to players that we get excited and then we get really crushed.
right, right.
Like the
Mm.
49ers, like the Jets,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so on. But we're there. Everything's
Hmm.
going to fall into place, and it just takes time. And I think Rome wasn't built overnight, type of
Hmm.
thing.
Right, yeah, and I think a lot of Bengals fans, I think that initial success, like you said, it just kind of like moved our expectations up and up. But really, this is a really young team. Joe Burrow. I mean, he hasn't even really had an off season. I mean,
Yeah.
last year he had the ACL, then the year before he had COVID. Like, and he's playing at this level. It's honestly amazing to watch. Now and then another young guy that a lot of people want to talk about that I think we won the debate between Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. Do you think the Bengals made the right choice with Jamar Chase?
Yeah, I'm really glad we did. In the beginning, I'm going to be honest, I was Team Sewell.
Oh, boo! No,
Yeah, right. But
okay.
it was tough.
I get it. Right? Yeah, I could see the argument both sides. Yeah.
Yeah. But all in all, I'm really glad what we did. And, our draft has paid off. And,
Hmm.
the free agencies that we've signed, holy crap.
Yeah.
There and again, they're putting the right, chess pieces in play. So
Mm.
it's
So yeah,
exciting.
I was gonna ask. So I mean, you again since '89, you've watched a lot of Bengals. Have you really
Yeah.
ever seen the Bengals make as many free agent moves as they had this year? I mean, this is just so new with everything.
Yeah. It was
It's so new.
all new. It was just like, holy shit, is this really happening? Sorry.
Right. Oh,
But
you're good. No, we're fine. We're fine. You're
and it
good.
was just like I don't know what to do with all these feelings. I got goosebumps. I got nervousness. I don't know. Uh, but all it just comes back to having faith in what they're doing.
Mhm.
And as a fan for so many years, I get it. I understand. The ups and downs we face as fans. Uh, everyone's human. We have the right to express feelings, and sometimes they
Mhm.
might not be nice, but we're still going to love on you. We're still going to be there for you as fans
Right.
of the sport and team and fan base. So it's
Right. Yeah.
it's been wild, that's for sure.
It's been definitely wild. So, Dalton, let's talk about the game coming up here. We're heading out to Denver. Denver, I gotta say, is one of the weirdest teams I've watched this year. They're just so all over the place. But looking at ESPN right now, ESPN is giving Denver a 60% chance to win on Sunday against the Bengals. How do you feel about that 60% prediction?
I I'm worried about the running game.
Mm-hmm.
Can we stop their running game?
Yeah.
Um, it's a 50-50 for me. I want the Bengals to win, but I'm a little worried about what Denver's going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
Also, side note, I wish that the Saints didn't get rid of Teddy Bridgewater. I
Yep.
think
Yep.
he would have been that quarterback for them, but that's another story. Uh,
Right.
so he's kind of up and down,
Mhm.
but when he's up, he's up. So with their running game, can we stop it? Just
Mhm.
like the 49ers, my biggest worry was Kittle. Could we stop him? And they did a good job uh, for the most part, but they found other ways to win us
Right.
besides shooting our own foot.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I mean, it is truly going to be a battle on Sunday. One of the things that I think that the Bengals need to do personally better is play calling. I know that's more Zach Taylor. I think
Yeah,
his play calling needs to get better. I believe that I I think moving forward, I think Zach Taylor is our head coach for the future. But if we're to win anything special, he cannot be calling plays. What do you feel about Zach Taylor as a play caller?
I think he's doing all right, but I think, yeah, I agree. I think there needs to be a dedicated person to do the
Mhm.
play calls. It's not to
Right.
say that you can't jump in and work with them, but
Mhm.
it, it you don't see a CEO doing other things. You see a CEO being a CEO, and
Mhm.
that's just my opinion. People might agree with it or not agree with it, but so I love Zach, what he's doing, what he's brought to the table, and to beat the Steelers three
Twenty.
back to back
Yep.
3 times.
Yep.
That's astronomical, amazing.
Mm.
But I think someone else needs to help with that play calling. But
Right.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
I
We'll see.
I agree, and I mean, he did one of those times with Ryan Finley also too. They which is also impeccable.
Yeah,
So when you look at the AFC North, and if you look at each team in each roster at full health, at full potential, personally, I look at the AFC North and I say the Bengals have the best roster right now. out
Yeah.
of all the teams. I think they are the best. Do you think the same thing?
Agreed.
You agree?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know how Lamar can keep lasting through the season, and now we're seeing him. I mean, he's just getting drilled, and now he's got to carry the whole offense.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield can't throw to anybody, and then the Steelers are in shambles. This is
Yeah.
really a division for the Bengals to win,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Would you say so?
I agree. And the Steelers, they need to re-sign Ben Roethlisberger to another 5, 7.
Yeah, he's been great.
Do it.
He's been
You will
he's
pay
been great.
something. Yeah, no. Yeah. And that was the thing is that when we got Zach on, is that there was going to be an overhaul, whether you wanted to believe it or not. It,
Mhm.
it may have not happened overnight, but it didn't happen. And to lose players that you have a jersey, to lose players
Right.
to another team, it is a business, and sometimes it's hard to understand that because we follow them so much. For me, Andy Dalton, he's a brother from another mother.
Right.
To my kids, I call him Uncle Dalton. But he has to move on. That's a business transaction. He has a
Right.
family of his own to take care of, and that's okay. It sucks, but it's okay. And but it's also a part of what has to happen to get us to where we are now.
Right. Right.
So losing players was good and bad,
Mhm.
but for the overall, I love the team we're building right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, I agree, and you bring up the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, and personally, I know you were a big fan of him because I believe when we started following each other, talking back and forth, you were doing a lot of Andy Dalton stuff.
Yeah,
But I personally, I think Andy Dalton is one of the best quarterbacks in Bengals history, and I think he got a lot of slack for a lot of things that weren't his fault. And he brought us to the playoffs over and over again, kept us winning a lot. I mean, is he as good as Joe Burrow? No, but he was a great quarterback, and I think he got way too
yeah,
much flack when he was here.
yeah, yeah. And here's something really odd: is I hope it doesn't play along with this narrative.
Hmm.
Uh, 2015, the
Right.
big where what did we get to 8-0, and
Yeah,
then
8-0.
and then was it his pinky? Was
It
pinky?
was his hand, I believe. I believe his whole hand broke.
Other hand, yeah, it was his other hand, and
Yeah.
yeah, broke his
Mhm.
finger. So when Joe Burrow dislocated his pinky, that just like all kinds of bad
Yeah.
pictures. I'm like,
Yeah.
2015, we're undefeated, 8-0, and this happens.
Right.
But different times. I think we'll do well.
Indeed. Indeed. So we got 4 games left. We got one against Denver, one against Baltimore, one against Cleveland, and one against Kansas City. So, if you were to predict what our record is in these 4 games, what would we go?
We're gonna win them out.
We're gonna win out. Your prediction, we're gonna win out.
We're gonna win out, and I'm leaning heavily on our defense.
Mhm.
I think our defense is going to really shine in these last games, and they need to, especially coming up with Patrick Mahomes. Uh, I'm not too worried about the Ravens or the
Mm,
Browns. Uh, but I think we'll do really well. And I think, as far as our offense go, I think we'll figure that click out and
right.
get rid of those nervous drops. I think it felt like nervous drops to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And
They're a lot of and they're young guys. You
yeah,
mentioned it. This is a young team.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's going to be
Mhm. Yeah, well, I heard a statement the other day, and it's 100% true. I forget who it was, but it's almost like this team arrived a year early than we thought they were going to.
yes,
That's how it feels. It really does feel like
yeah,
that. It feels like okay, we can maybe get 7 wins here and there, but now we're expecting this team to win the division and go to the
yeah,
playoffs and make a run in the playoffs. It's almost like this is a year early.
yeah, yeah. And thankfully it is because.
Right.
Uh, Whatever the outcome is this year, I know everyone's going to be put on notice for next year, and everyone, top to bottom, media to fans, is going to have their eyes on us.
That's right.
And I think we're going to close out the year with a bang. That's for sure.
There we go. So Dalton at Dalton Signature predicts 4-0 to finish the season. I love the optimism. Dalton, I just got a couple more questions about just you yourself here. So you're it looks like you are self-employed, kind of get hired around the country. What have been some of your favorite projects that you've worked on?
Oh, favorite projects. It's fairly new. Just I okay. So what I do, I work at a newspaper part time. I've been
Okay.
doing that for since 2008.
Mhm.
Um, and I also designed Luxury Home Magazine for Washington, Idaho area. Um, so I've been doing that since 2011. So that keeps me pretty busy. But as far as freelance stuff goes, I've been trying to do more logo designs for podcasters, fans,
Mm.
um, pretty much anything I can. So I think the biggest part for me is developing my portfolio to
Right.
work for a professional team, football team,
Mhm.
uh, down the road. So that's what I'm
Right.
doing. Yeah.
Oh, I feel the freelance grind. I 100% get that. I mean, here we are right here, that
Yeah.
freelance grind. So if you could, so let's just say the Bengals are out of the question. You couldn't work for the Bengals for whatever reason. You have to pick a second team to work for. Who would you pick? Any league, any
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so I probably would have to go for the Seahawks.
Seahawks. Okay.
Because I do follow them on Twitter. I follow everything that they do.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that being from Washington, Alaska, that would fit. Um, but as far as other teams, I think probably the Krakens from the
Oh,
hockey.
that'd be cool. Yeah.
I would love to work for the Orlando Magic's
Okay.
basketball team.
That'd be cool.
Football, you know what? It could be anybody but the Steelers. I would never work for them, and that's personal.
Right, right.
I wouldn't work for the Browns. The Ravens, maybe, but that's just probably going to be out of the question. But anybody else, yeah,
Right. I got you. But the only thing about the Ravens is they do have they have some pretty cool colors, purple and black, and I
yeah,
love the purple and black and the gold.
definitely.
I like those Ravens colors. Yeah. So Dalton, it's so now I gotta go over to this next question here. So obviously you're a big time NFL Bengals fan. If you had to pick a college football team, would you be cheering for my University of Cincinnati Bearcats, or do you have your own college team that you cheer for?
Bearcats. I've been
Yes,
following the
sir.
Bearcats for a while, and I love what they do. My second team would be the Washington Huskies.
Mhm.
That's my dad was he went to school there as a PA,
Sure.
and so Huskies would be the number two. But Bearcats,
Yes, sir. That's
following it for a while, and I love what's happening there. It's been pretty amazing.
That's
So.
awesome. We got to get you out to a game, sir. So, Dalton, this is the part of the time you plug whatever you want, whatever's going on in your life. How can the people find you? I would just go ahead and let it loose.
All right, so I've done giveaways in the past. I'm going to do another one here soon. I have the post up. It's a video, and I'm going to do a giveaway. So keep an eye out. Do that. Um, and of course, the Cincy shirts. Follow that because I'm going to be submitting some more designs for that. But I'm also on Instagram and same handle Dalton Signature. But first and foremost, vote for Willie Anderson in the Pro
Yes.
Football Hall of Fame.
Yes.
They're allowing us to put our votes in there, and I've been following it, I've been pushing it, I've been pumping it. We got to get him in. I mean, there's
Yes, sir.
all kinds of other players that we love that need to be in there, but Willie's on the semifinalists right now, so let's do our part and get him in there. Um, but other than that, I hope everyone's having a great December. I can't believe it's December, right? I
Crazy.
think I'm still in August right now. Mentally, I'm still in
Right.
August.
I
Uh,
feel that.
but other than that, things have been going good. Family's good.
It's awesome.
We
Uh,
finally got snow, which is always fun.
There you go. There you go. Father three, I see on the
Yes,
bio.
yes.
What are the ages?
My oldest, Ruth, lives in upstate New York. She's
Okay.
22. 22,
Fantastic.
and my son Grayson is 9. He'll be 10 in January. And my youngest Tegan is 6.
That's
So we're doing
awesome.
good. And
That's
Tegan, she said recently, "We should all be tigers, Dad." I said, "What? Why?" "Because we love the Bengals. That's why we should be tigers, Dad." She's definitely she's really liked me a lot, which is really funny because
Mm,
my wife says it all the time.
mm,
And but she always they love drawing stuff. They love
mm.
giving me things that are Bengals. Like my birthday last year, my son made this for me.
Oh, that is awesome. That's so cool.
That
Yeah,
could be
he's got some
too, right?
talent right there.
I love it. My kids are very artistic. They love to draw, and I guess it helps that my wife is an artist as well. She does graphic
Okay.
design
Okay.
as well. So yeah, yeah.
Like, so so the whole family's big Bengals fans. It all trickled down through.
Oh, you know what? My daughter loves the Bengals, and by proxy, my wife loves the Bengals. My son, he likes the Bengals. He'll root with me, but he's too. He loves any team that is a cat.
Okay.
So he likes the Jaguars. He likes the
Uh,
Bengals. He likes Wazoo in college,
oh, okay.
which is a rival of the Huskies. I'm like,
Utah. Yeah.
son, and his first team that he loved was actually the Jets, and
Okay.
we were like, I don't know, but
Of course. Right.
they love, and he plays football now at school
Oh,
at
awesome.
recess, and he loves it. He always, when we watch a game together, we talk about what's going on, and he asks me questions all the time. And then he asks a question about a play or what they're doing, he'll relate it to what he does on the recess. Like he
Really?
loves to play the wide receiver. He
Okay.
he has a great spiral. He's a better spiral than I do, and so I love seeing that. Your kids will love what you do,
Mm.
will always follow what you do, and they develop their own passion and dreams from that. And to see that in my kids is amazing, and I love it.
So we got a future. So we got the future Alec Pierce, basically, that's going to eventually go to UC and eventually become
Yeah.
the greatest
Oh yeah,
receiver in UC history.
yeah.
I was
Go
I
ahead.
was my no, I was gonna say my friend, he just had a baby, and I always kid around. I was like, all right, so there's the one that's gonna bring us a Heisman. That's it right there. It's gonna be
Right?
him. Could bring us a Heisman.
Oh
Bring it
my
home.
goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, Dalton, it's been so fun to have you on here, man. Good luck in whatever you're doing. This is again at Dalton Signature on Twitter. He has his very own shirt collection on CincyShirts.com, which is absolutely dope. I would love to have my own merchandise. Honestly, that's a dream right there. So that's really cool. Definitely go check him out. His artwork is unbelievable. If you're a Bengals fan, there's just no reason why you wouldn't want to follow Dalton. So anyway, Dalton, thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Love it.
Yeah.
Today.
Thank you. Hooday. This has been the Back Row Bengals show, all brought to you by fansided.com. Go check out my blog on stripehype.com. It's just a sister site of fansided.com. You'll find it right there. So go read those blogs and go give us a follow. And we will see you next Tuesday to talk what
Peace.
happened in the Broncos versus Bengals game. All right. See y'all. Love y'all. Hooday. Peace.